On the afternoon of January the 13th in Hanoi, the state president received 25 international delegates from 15 countries coming to attend activities on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Paris Peace Accords. The delegates shared memories, good feelings, and enthusiastic support that international friends have given to Vietnam in the resistant war for national independence, unification, and reunification, including the term of the Paris Peace Conference, as well as in the course of innovation, construction, and defense of Vietnam today. The agreement on ending the war and restoring peace in Vietnam, signed on January the 27th, 1973, is an important victory of Vietnam's diplomacy, receiving positive support to people globally. Speaking at the meeting, President Nguyễn Xuân Phúc warmly welcomed international delegates attending activities to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Paris Peace Accords, underscoring that the presence of international delegates showed deep affection, concern, and love for Vietnam over the years, especially in the days leading up to the Lunar New Year 2023. The government leaders sincerely appreciated the good sentiments, solidarity, and valuable support that international friends have been giving to Vietnam, expressing his belief that the international community will forever accompany the Vietnamese people in the course of national construction and defense. On this occasion, the Vietnam Union of Friendship Organizations on January the 13th held a meeting themed Paris Peace Accords 1973, Memories and Ways Forward. The event drew international delegates from friendship and peace organizations in 15 countries. The signing of the Paris Peace Accords was a great success, a historical turning point of the Vietnamese Revolution. The signing of this deal led to the unconditional withdrawal of the American troops from South Vietnam. It also created favorable conditions for the Spring General Offensive and uprising and the national reunification in 1975. At the meeting, historical witnesses from countries with different socio-political regions all over the world shared unforgettable memories about activities and movements in support of Vietnam in the war against the U.S. imperialists and during negotiations for the signing of the Paris Peace Accords in 1973. When the war in Vietnam entered a tense period, in the Soviet Union, a committee for supporting Vietnam was established. This committee was responsible for coordinating the supportive activities of all public organizations, labor unions, and scientists of the Soviet Union towards Vietnam. And our mission was to let the world understand what Vietnam was going through.
I knew the war was wrong. Not just meaningless, but wrong, that it was an act of aggression and not justified by any legal or historical reasons or strategic reasons. So since 1965, or 64, 65, I'm opposed to the war. After the Peace Corps, I headed an organization of former Peace Corps volunteers that came together to oppose the war, and we published advertisements, we participated in demonstrations, we produced many documents about why, from our experience in the Peace Corps, we were opposed to the war in Vietnam.
The solidarity and support from international friends gave Vietnam more strength on the battlefield as well as on the tough and fierce negotiations. Vietnam's victory in the negotiations for the Paris Peace Accords, as well as the war against the U.S. imperialists, is a victory of both Vietnamese people and the movement by peace-loving people around the world. It's also the victory of trust in justice. The Paris Peace Accords is not only the victory of Vietnam, but also Laos, Indochina, and the progressive people around the world. Today, I'm so moved by the stories and sharings of peace lovers. They remind me of the devotees and the days we celebrated the victory of the Accords. As one of the 4 people to ink the Paris Peace Accords, former Vice President Nguyễn Thị Bình sent her message to the event, thanking all peace-loving forces who stood side by side with Vietnam in the resistant war against American imperialists. Their solidarity and great support are always etched in the hearts of the Vietnamese people. We never forget the millions of people around the world who defied repression and imprisonment to march and demonstrate to demand an end to the war in Vietnam. I hope that international friends will maintain that support for Vietnam and assist the country during the current national defense construction.